everyone! Welcome to Critical Hit!
It's the only show on the internet hosted by Judith and Dan.
That we know of.
God,
Yeah.
I really hope that that's the truth.
Yeah, not many people out there have the name Judith.
It's a pretty old name.
No, it's a pretty cool name.
And old.
What you mean to say.
Both are statements that can be used to describe you.
Your name's pretty old, too.
Yeah, but people still use it for some ungodly reason.
Because it's easy to say.
It sure is.
Yeah, nobody likes the if names that much anymore.
That's too bad.
I like them.
Well, yeah, me too.
Of course, I'm glad I got Judith and not like Edith or something. I guess that is kind of lame.
I guess that's kind of like 50 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I know some people named Meredith.
Well, that's...
I actually don't know what the diff means. My name just means praised.
You know what? That's probably something worth looking up. I'm sure that because there are so many different ith or dith names, that it's got to have some sort of significance.
Right? But, Coca-Cola doesn't think my name is real. During that...
No, but they have Ibrahim.
They have Ibrahim. And they had stupid nicknames for commonly found names in addition to the commonly found names, just so those people don't feel left out.
Right, but I exist.
Like Liz. Sorry, I know a Liz. Sorry, your name's not stupid, but Coke is stupid.
Right.
Coke was like, you have such a unique name. Sorry. Fuck you, Coke.
Your name is so unique that we can't be bothered to care about it.
But Ibrahim's cool. I know
at least and totally popular.
50 people with that name. I'm sorry to anyone out there named Ibrahim. I still think there are more Judiths in the United States. I could be wrong.
I mean, that's also worth looking up, but not gonna bother.
Nope. What are we here to talk about?
We are here to talk about Pokémon again.
That's new.
That's all. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well, specifically the remakes for the Ruby and Sapphire 3rd generation games.
Yeah, and specifically the slippers that came in the mail today that are both shaped like sleeping goomies. Yeah, they fit. I was afraid.
Oh, that's good.
I was afraid because they're Japanese and they might have smaller feet than me.
Yeah, you have such huge, giant man feet, Judith.
Look, if it's two slippers shaped like kids' characters, I'm a little worried that they might not be my size.
Yeah, but if you think about it this way, the average shoe size of a person in Japan has got to be like...
I have no idea.
Actually, I don't either. I'm sure that it's actually just as varied as it is here. Now that I think about it. Yep.
But different sizing. But with slippers, it's not a big deal. And it looks like you step in two goomies who were just asleep and they don't even notice. And you walk around and they're having like this whole Goomy promo for everybody out there who likes their dragons a little more boogery.
I want, is there some sort of specific significance to Goomy that I don't know about?
What do you mean, like in Japan?
Like, in Japan, I understand that they had the whole Eevee promotion, and there was that Magikarp promotion specifically
It's because in the anime, Ash just caught a Goomy.
Oh.
And it's gonna evolve at a rapid pace, and he'll have a Goodra very soon.
What?
Yep. He's gonna have a fully evolved dragon and then probably let it go or something.
He's actually going to evolve something?
Yeah. As long as it's not Pikachu. Actually, I'm looking at his team right now on the Cerebi page, and all of his Pokemon are evolved except Pikachu.
What?
Yeah, all of his current Pokemon. Well, Hawlucha doesn't count.
Well, Hawlucha doesn't count. But, okay, so who does he have?
Frogadier, Frogadier, Fletchinder, Hawlucha, and Sliggoo.
Wow.
Yeah. Boy's coming up in the world. I mean, at the cost of his free thought, but...
It took him long enough. Maybe he finally realized that he could actually win gym badges instead of getting pity badges by using Pokemon that were stronger.
Oh, don't worry, he'll let them all go soon.
Nah, yeah, just in time for Gen 7.
Oh, yeah, that should be soon. No.
Like maybe next... I'm sure that there's going to be an announcement either late this year or early next year.
That would be kind of soon.
Because X and Y came out, I want to say a year and a half ago?
Was it really that long? How long do they usually go in between releases? I felt like...
Maybe 3 years, 2 or 3 years?
Yeah. So, if they do I don't remember how long in advance they have these announcements. But
I don't either.
But they just released Oras. Oras.
Oras.
Which we're here to talk about.
And what an awful,
fun,
terrible,
engaging,
soul-crushing,
wow,
disappointment.
Wow. And he's playing it twice, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm playing it the second time
I
around.
only played it once.
I don't actually think it was that bad, but good lord, it was.
Yes.
You know, we'll get into it.
I don't think it was that bad, but good lord, it was that bad.
It was really that bad. No, I
don't think we were playing the same game.
I can't hate on it too much because
I'll always argue with you?
Well, I mean, there's that, but you know, it's always nice to have somebody who's wrong all the time about all the things to talk with.
Oh.
Anyway,
don't talk to yourself, man.
I can't hate on it too much because it is designed to get people into the game, and it is a remake specifically of, you know,
the most boring game ever.
Yeah.
I know there's so many fans out there of Ruby and Sapphire, and I was actually surprised at how many people flipped out when they found out this was being remade.
I am too, because in my mind it was only a matter of time.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, when the 3DS came out, one of the first things I thought of was, all right, so this is going to be the next remake system. Because the first-gen games came out on the Game Boy, then the Game Boy Color with the second-gen games, then the Game Boy Advance where they did the first remake, and then the DS where they did the second remake.
Nintendo and Game Freak have established quite a pattern that is getting easier and easier to follow.
Yeah, so
I was thrown off on Oras because the last statement I heard about it before the official announcement was, we don't have any plans in the works to make a remake of Ruby and Sapphire.
Because they were already done.
Yeah, because granted, that was a while before the official announcement came out, and that was when I wrote it off and went, well, I guess they're just busy looking forward. So
nope.
I didn't even care enough to check because I really didn't like Ruby and Sapphire.
It wasn't my favorite either.
No, I think a reason a lot of the kids flipped out is because they're still younger than both of us.
And that was the first game for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was.
Because the Game Boy Advance was when handhelds really exploded.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color were still big deals, but the Game Boy Advance, with its greater graphic processing ability and the sheer number of things that it had going for it. Because remember when they would do cartridges of episodes of cartoons?
Yes.
That was a thing.
That's still a thing, but it's not cartridges anymore.
Right. But, like, the Game Boy Advance, they did a whole lot with so that people could get more involved. And Ruby and Sapphire, and also Fire Red and Leaf Green, those were probably the first games for a lot of people who play Pokemon today.
Yeah, now that I think about it, they probably remade Red and Green to get younger kids to play, the ones who had missed out.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
I mean, not just to get us, get our nostalgia boners raging again. They're pretty good at that.
And to play the game without having it be a dysfunctional coding mess.
We didn't notice back in the day. Or maybe
no,
you
of
did.
course not. But the moment that we started playing better games, we're like, oh, well, what if...
Yeah. Yeah. I still liked Red and Blue. Back in the day. I don't think I could go back. I never go back.
I have gone back. I still play all of my old games.
All of Twitch went back.
Well, yeah,
so
that was...
apparently there's something replayable.
That was an experiment.
It was.
That was an interesting... That was an anomaly and should not have been counted. But yeah, I mean, I still go back all the time and play all my old games.
at least with the Pokemon games, I have trouble looking at those shitty graphics and all these busted-ass battle mechanics.
Special stat? What's that?
Oh my god, so many Pokemon were rendered completely useless by the way special and physical were divided up until Gen 4.
Yeah.
Like my buddy Arcanine, I loved him so much.
But guess what, Judith?
What?
All fire attacks are special.
Yeah, why? And then,
At least they did the special and physical divide. Period. I mean, that was a good thing to have after the first game, which was basically if you have Earthquake, you're good.
That and Lucario were the things I was the most excited about in Gen 4.
I think Gen 4 probably had I'm gonna go on record saying that Gen 4 is my favorite when it comes to game mechanics.
It was mine for a while too, actually, but nobody else liked it that much. I feel like a lot of people see Gen 4 the same way we see Gen 3.
When I think of Gen 4, I think of all the games that came out with Gen 4, including Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which are my favorites.
Yeah.
Those are technically Gen 4.
That is true, because you could get the Gen 4 Pokemon in it.
Yep.
I enjoyed exploring Sinnoh, though.
And I mean, just from a mechanical standpoint, Gen 4 was probably the best.
Probably. I like to think they fix things as they go. I mean...
Well, yeah, they do, but Gen 4 had some of the best fixes, I guess.
Which ones in particular? Besides the physical special split, which was the one thing that I latched onto like crazy.
That was probably my favorite thing. I guess the physical special split was probably the biggest thing for me. The introduction of wireless trading, not just the little adapter that you get for the Game Boy, but
that also, how could I forget that?
The Wi-Fi connection was first introduced in Gen 4.
Even that seems like dinosaur old now.
It really does.
Wow. For anybody who doesn't know, the physical special split was something that Gen 4 did to change the battle mechanics, not just for in the game, but competitively as well. There are two types of attack in Pokemon. Physical, where you basically smack something physically, and special, where you shoot energy or elements at something.
Like fire.
Right. So the types of attacks used to be split up by Pokemon types. Like, all dark attacks were special. And all fire attacks were special. But all ghost attacks were physical, which was the weirdest, dumbest thing.
Right.
And all fighting attacks were physical, etc., etc. Some of them didn't make much sense. I don't even remember what Dragon was.
I'll bet you Dragon was special.
Probably.
But it didn't really matter at the very beginning because there was only like one or two Dragon moves.
That's true. And one of them did fixed damage anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Gen 1, Dragon was the be-all end-all for Pokemon. It had one move, it did 40 damage.
And one Pokemon line.
That
was it. Wow. Oh yeah, I remember Twister came out in a later gen. It was like, oh, a new dragon move that doesn't do fixed damage. It has like 20 base power. Thanks, guys. Thanks. So I saw Lucario in the movie, and I thought it was really cool. And I was like, I want to use one of those in my team when Gen 4 comes out officially. So I looked at its stats on Cerebi because the game had already come out in Japan. And I was like, ooh, special attack is higher than physical. I mean, they're both good. It's a fighting type. Special attack is higher than... Why do they always do this to us? And then I looked at Oras, and it was listed as a special attack. And I went, what? So I started looking at all the attacks, and now they were all separated. The physical and special split is based on what type of an attack it is.
Right, and it would show you in-game. It wasn't just something that you needed to know about outside of the game. They
before
specifically
this,
said,
you just had to know.
Aurasphere is a special attack. Close combat is a physical attack.
Yeah, because Aurasphere is blasting somebody with a Kamehameha wave, and close combat is getting up in someone's face and beating the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love both of those moves, in case anybody was interested.
That is probably the biggest addition that everyone remembers. It's one of my favorite parts about it. The Wi-Fi connection, they brought back the days of the week.
Right,
that made a difference, and day and night.
They brought back day and night because Ruby and Sapphire got rid of day and night
for some ungodly reason.
God, I hated Ruby and Sapphire for so many reasons. It wasn't a bad game, but it pissed me off.
It wasn't a good game either.
So then they remade it.
Right.
And it sold tons of copies.
Oh, right. And Gen 4 also gave us gender dimorphism in Pokemon.
Right. Like cute little things like that. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
For some reason, like Gen 6 had almost no dimorphism. I think they got tired of redesigning every sprite.
Probably.
There
are some that I'm sure show up, but I don't remember any of them.
We gave them the lion.
Yeah,
Lions
that was pretty much it.
I think there was one more. I don't know.
Unpheasant was Gen 5.
There's lots of little things, like female Venusaur has a little thing coming out of its flower, and male Venusaur doesn't.
Yeah.
Or the spots on Vileplume or Weasel.
Or the little cut in Pikachu's tail.
Yeah. Or Garchomp. Only male Garchomp had that little nick in their fin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's probably because they're dumb and fight each other all the time.
Probably. My Garchomp Sharkface is female.
Oh, speaking of Garchomp, did you see the Cynthia and Nendoroid?
Yes.
Ah.
I sound like a total furry for Lucario, but I wish it had come with a little Lucario, not a little Garchomp.
Well, Lucario... She has, like, little Lucario things in her hair. You'd think that they would...
I know, but in the anime she uses Garchomp because she wants to win.
Oh, yeah.
Can't blame her.
Not me either. I mean, if I had to choose a straight-up fight between Garchomp and Lucario...
Holy shit, Garchomp would win. But Mega Lucario, I have taken down Garchomps with Mega Lucario, and it's so satisfying. Garchomp used to be the bane of my existence in competitive battling.
And now it can eat a Lucario dick.
Yeah, no, let's get rid of that image. And it's gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, they remade Ruby and Sapphire.
The dullest games in the franchise.
I bought them, of course, because I'm going to buy
yeah.
every main Pokemon game. Wondering, is this going to be as dull? And no, it wasn't. Nope, it wasn't.
I'm going to disagree with you.
It was not. First, it was day and night again.
Oh boy, it was day and night again. So was every other game up to that point since Ruby and Sapphire.
For the first time, the region of Hoenn saw the sun set.
I thought that Gen 3 was boring, and that did not really change a whole lot in the update.
What was your big problem with Gen 3?
Okay, so the game moves at such a slow pace.
Mm-hmm.
It moved really slowly for me anyway, but that's probably partly because I could only play for half an hour at a time before I got too bored.
Okay.
It moved too slowly. The rival teams were they were just as dumb as all the others. They were trying to be eco-friendly,
in
but
the stupidest way possible.
Yeah, I would probably rate them just above Team Flare.
Oh, you dislike Team Flare more than Team Plasma?
They're so dumb.
I thought they were better than Team Plasma. Team Plasma raised interesting questions, but then at the end they were all like, "Oh, we don't mean it though. We just like to kick Pokemon. You don't have to have any moral quandary about beating us."
That has less to do with the team itself and more to do with the developers and the writers, and that's a disappointment. The idea behind Team Plasma is like
a cult.
Well, it's a cult, but it's a cult with a good idea that you're presented with at the start, or at least an interesting idea.
That none of its members believed in except one guy.
Some of them actually believed in it.
Yeah, because they all fought you and they were all assholes.
Yeah, but they were stupid. But there were some of the Team Plasma NPCs who you could talk to, and they either felt regrets or they were questioning the methods. And in Black 2 and White 2, there was a split between the morons and the people who actually believed in the message.
I guess that's true. I liked Team Flare a little bit better because I liked how their objective was just genocide.
No, you know what?
That was pretty badass.
That is a good point. And I like Team Rocket because they're an unabashed evil team, and I should like Team Flare more.
Yeah.
But what I don't like is their leader.
Nobody liked him.
Okay, so that's how I'm going to go on record. I like Team Flare. Lysander's a freaking idiot.
My name is Lysander. It means...
I'm part lion. Look at my hair.
Head on fire. Yeah. When he calls you up and he's like, "Yeah, the professor gave me your number. I wish I had the power to hang up."
That's not okay.
But no, I agree with you. Aqua and Magma are kind of lame.
Okay, so let's be Team Magma for a bit. Okay, there's not enough land.
Why not? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in Team Magma. I'm not asking questions. Right.
Right, you're Team Magma. There's not enough land.
Right.
So what are we gonna do?
Make more.
How are we gonna do it?
I don't know.
Trigger a volcano. We're going to cause mass droughts.
Right.
Because that can't possibly go wrong.
I hate the ocean. This one time, I went in it, and it got in my mouth, and it was salty. And I don't like being
It needs to go.
Yes. What could go wrong?
And, completely ignoring for a moment
That everything will die?
If you use the sunlight to evaporate all the water, it's going to go into the sky and then come back down as
Eventually.
rain.
But everything will die first.
Right, everything will die first because there's no water to sustain life.
And meanwhile,
on the other end,
yo ho, I wanna be a pirate.
Their thing is there's not enough wildlife for the water Pokemon.
Fuck me, I don't need land to live.
And neither do any of the other not fish Pokemon.
They all deserve to drown for not being fish.
So what are we gonna do?
Get rid of the continents!
Let's make it rain.
I'm sure once we release Groudon or Kyogre, they will instantly understand our objective and listen to us, and nothing could get out of hand. They didn't think anything through. They had all these elaborate plans and these machines and this big hideout to pull off this idiotic plan that had no thought put into it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it's for kids.
The Team Aqua and Team Magma are probably the dumbest. Here's how I would rate my teams from bottom to top. Aqua and Magma tied. Mm-hmm. Probably Team Galactic because I don't really remember much about them.
Oh yeah.
What
did they want?
I really don't remember.
Did they want to go to space? I don't remember.
I know that their leader Cyrus, was that his name?
I don't remember. He had a hard-on for Giratina.
Yeah, but his thing was like, I want to go back in time and change reality so that life is better.
Okay.
And, like, he had a noble ambition and da-da-da-da-da, but I don't remember if anyone else knew about it.
Probably not. A lot of these...
I seriously can't remember.
Team Aqua and Team Magma were the first ideological team that you had to fight.
Yeah. Because Team Rocket showed up twice.
Yeah, and Team Rocket was all like, yeah,
let's commit crimes.
We're assholes. We want money. That's it.
And so, yeah, I would put Aqua Magma, Galactic, Plasma, Flare, Rocket.
Fair enough.
Not counting any of the other side game evil teams, because I don't know any of those.
I don't know either. There's
Team Snag'em.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the dumbest name.
They're just Team Rocket. They just steal Pokemon.
They are. Just own up to it, man. But yeah, Team Rocket is my favorite. And it will always be, partly because of nostalgia, mostly because they are completely unabashed in their goals.
Mm-hmm.
They are a genuine evil team led by a genuine evil guy.
Yeah, there's no secrets in Team Rocket. You know what you're doing and what you signed up for.
Yeah.
It's been different for every other team. All of them are being deceived by one crazy person.
Yeah, even Team Flare, like, their thing was... Let's be fashionable.
Yeah, let's make everything
also
prettier.
Commit crimes.
And their leader is like, yes, we will make everything prettier. And everything
by killing
is
everyone.
Much prettier when it's dead. He says at the last second.
That was so... I don't want anything to change. All of the ugly things need to die.
Including the Earth.
Including the Earth. Although it did give us a nice moment for the champion to be really cool.
Yeah. And you get to be really cool.
Well, yeah, you always get to be really cool. Anyway, so yeah. I hate Team Aqua and Team Magma. Although I really like the redesigns for their outfits.
They do look cool. You have to hand it to them.
Yeah, I love the pirate theme. I love that. I mean, I got Sapphire, so my experience was with all the pirates.
Yeah, aesthetically, Aqua is way better.
And they're so laid back about everything. If you go into their base, you can talk to some of the grunt people about it, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't really have a schedule. They just
tell you everything.
They just tell you what needs to be done."
I mean, Magma does the same thing. Their outfits are a little, I'm a dinosaur. And their boss is so much less. So... He's not cool. He's really not cool unless you're into that, and I know some girls are into that.
Some of them are. Another thing that I wasn't too fond of about the remakes for this game, and it kind of ties into X and Y a little bit.
Mm.
Everyone in the overworld is a chibi.
Well, yeah, it's easier to do.
Even the adults.
But it's okay.
They've got giant heads and little bodies.
Yeah.
As fully 3D rendered models.
Don't a lot of games do that?
No.
A lot of Nintendo games do.
But how am I supposed to take any of them seriously when they look like that?
You're playing Pokémon.
I get that, but at least when I was playing Pokémon as a pixelated game, everyone looked like that.
Well, yeah, it's still uniform.
Yes, but these guys are supposed to be intimidating and impressive. I can't take anybody in any of the 3D games even remotely seriously when they look like that in the overworld.
I never got the impression that we adults are supposed to take it seriously. Just the kids.
I mean, I can't take them even remotely seriously. Not even a little bit. I can't even look at it from a different perspective and think, yeah, I'm supposed to think that these guys are the antagonist.
Okay, point against Ruby and Sapphire. Never once, while playing, did I think, whoa, this is heavy.
Right.
Boo.
And never once did I think, wow, this is intimidating. Wow, this is something that I need to worry about.
That's supposed to come from the battles. And what did you think of the battles?
There was one battle that I thought was really cool.
Which one?
The 5 trainer horde battle.
That was interesting, except it only happened twice.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they didn't want to bombard you too much, because unless you have a field sweeping move, it's going to take forever.
And I can understand that. I totally do. Not having that appear more than once or twice. And I like that it happened, period. I don't have a counter for that. That was my favorite thing.
Okay.
That's it. That was just really cool.
I had a few cool battles. I really liked the addition of Mega Sceptile and Mega Swampert.
Yes. I had Mega Swampert for my first run, and now I'm doing Sceptile.
I just wanted Mega Swampert so bad. Look, he's so Bara.
But if you want to talk about the Mega Pokemon in this game, it's not that their designs are bad, and it's not that they're bad Pokemon. It's how Mega Evolution was presented in that game.
How was it? It was like, only a few people can have this power. And you're one of them. Here. Ta-da!
That's it. Here, have this shiny thing.
Yeah, Steven follows you around in this game.
Steven has it.
Periodically giving you things.
He totally tuxedo masked the entire game. He shows up, says a couple things, does literally nothing. He doesn't even do anything.
I know, but your problems are still fixed by the time he's gone.
Because you fixed them yourself.
But you're inspired by the words of the champion.
Not even remotely. Because most of his dialogue was, oh, this is a thing that's happening. I should look into it.
But you see, I liked that. I liked the inclusion of characters like that, like him and Cynthia, in the rest of the plot.
But he was so completely ineffectual. He had no influence on anything.
He gives you stuff.
He gave you a Mega Stone.
Yeah. It's that. What? Is that more significant or less significant than me finding one under a rock, which is where most of them were?
Right, but in X and Y, they had this whole grand build-up to it.
Because it was new.
It was new, but they made it seem like it was a big deal. The only people who had it were the gym leader who was supposed to be, like, next in line for whatever. You had it. Your rival had it because they were there at the same time, and the champion had it.
And the villain. He got it.
Did he?
He had Mega Gyarados.
Oh, right. Okay. Meanwhile, in Alpha Ruby and Omega Sapphire, you get it. Your friend/rival gets it.
Both of your rivals get it.
Steven has it. Wally has it.
The villains.
Both villains. It just feels like it wasn't nearly as big a deal. I found a Mega Stone before I got the ability to Mega Evolve Pokemon.
I found several Mega Stones before I got the ability to Mega Evolve.
And so, like, you see that little sparkly thing on the ground, you're like, wait, what is that?
But it's not between the hour of 8 and 9 p.m. How can this be?
I'm totally okay with that being a thing. However, finding them before you have the ability to Mega Evolve?
Well, maybe they just wanted people to wonder, what is this for? No, they were going to know what it was for.
Everyone knew what it was for, but there was no build-up to it. It felt completely unimportant.
They're just trying to jam as many stones as they can into the game, and maybe it would have been too much if you found all of them after you got the bracelet.
But you get it so early on.
Kinda. You get it, like, midway through the gyms.
I would say that you get it, like, after the second gym. Since I'm playing it again, I'll find it again.
You get it when you get Latios or Latias. I don't think they would give you a legendary after your second gym
You
badge.
get it. It's level 30.
All right.
And my Pokemon at the time were in the mid-20s.
Well, aren't you just the baddest ass?
But it was so underwhelming. That is the word I would use to describe this game as a whole. Underwhelming.
Well, I'm not going to call it overwhelming myself. It's just whelming to me.
It wasn't even whelming. Everything about it was phoned in my opinion.
I disagree. Everything about it, first of all, that's very unfair. They busted their asses on those graphics, especially the battle backgrounds.
Graphics that they already had for X and Y.
The backgrounds for the battles that
Most
we're
of
not
them
allowed to use on Wi-Fi. No, they really upgraded them.
Did they?
Some of them look really, really cool. And I wish that we had
to-
the option to use them in competitive matches just to up the feeling of the battle, but we can't. It's just for that one battle in game.
Yeah, and it's for Wi-Fi battles, it's pretty much just that hologram room.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, you guys obviously went the extra mile to make these backgrounds look
fully
great.
rendered 3D environments for you to fight in.
So why don't you let us use them in competitive matches so we can look at them all the livelong day if we choose? No.
Like, you can pick the music, so you should be able to pick the backdrop.
How hard can that be?
Because it doesn't change anything for you.
If that is hard and I don't understand video game developing and I'm saying something wrong, feel free to correct me. But I thought that we should have been allowed.
Here's my thought on how it would work. It's like a green screen.
Mm-hmm.
And the battle system itself is set up entirely in a green box, let's say. A green screen box.
Uh-huh.
And then the input value for whichever place you're in depends on whichever place you are in game.
Right.
So if I'm in section 1, then the input value for the location of a battle is section 1, and so it just overlays that. Because nothing really like floats across your screen or is influenced by the battle itself.
Oh, that would be sweet.
I think that there are some things like that in X and Y, like you can get berries or something from trees in the background.
That is a thing. That's how I got most of my rare berries.
But that's again, that's situational, and it's entirely based on the input of whatever location you're in.
Yeah, but like, I just want to battle a competitive match, like a gym match with one of my friends.
Right.
Over a pit of hot lava.
So what I'm saying is it shouldn't be that hard to decide, okay, well, what if I was at this point? Because you can pick the music.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You can pick situational music, and they can pick their own situational music. Why can't you pick your situational backdrop?
You can pick backdrops in every fighting game, so why not? Why not? Game Freak, do it for your adult fans. Even the kids would like it, I bet.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just one of those other things that didn't feel particularly... Now that you've brought it up, yeah, that's a good point. That really sucks.
You should look for the backgrounds, though. I'm surprised you didn't notice that a lot of them they're much nicer looking than the ones in X and Y.
I remember
for the pivotal matches.
When you were at Evergrande City fishing.
Right. That's
Evergrande Pokemon
One
Center.
random thing I've always hated about Ruby and Sapphire. Why do they call it Evergrande City? It's not a city. It's a Pokemon Center and a mountain with nothing on it.
But then if you engage in a battle, it suddenly generates this city around you.
Yeah. So I finally understand. It's called Evergrande City because the city sprouts up while you're battling, apparently. And you can only battle while you're fishing.
It's like saying the other cities in-game only have 5 buildings.
This has no buildings. Yeah,
I get that, but the other cities aren't representative of the actual population. because there are only like 2 or 3 houses and a gym.
I know, but at least they represent a population.
It would definitely be nice for them to make Evergrande City, at least make it look something like, you could have closed off buildings with no doors that you can access and like pave the ground outside of the Pokemon Center.
Yeah, make it look inhabited. That's all I'm saying. That's so stupid. At least call it Evergrande Village or Evergrande Town or Evergrande Pokemon Center.
Evergrande Plateau.
Evergrande Rock.
Evergrande Base.
But not city.
It's not a city.
Okay, that's a minor gripe. But seriously. Like 50 years from now when they make...
You're still gonna be pissed about it.
Omega Ruby and like Alpha Sapphire. There had better be a city there.
Nope.
Look, okay. It's not important. I'm just nitpicking.
Yeah, I mean, that is a little bit nitpicky, but it's still important to you.
Yes, just like all of your nitpicks.
Excuse you, my nitpicks are, not nitpicks.
They're significant.
They're things that happen over the course of the entire game.
Okay, gym challenges, way too easy.
Way too easy!
Except for Wallace, you had a hard time with that. I kicked his ass.
I had a hard time with that because I don't think I gave my Mega Swampert a fighting move.
I didn't either.
Well, I mean, the problem was he also had ice types and that fucking Stalreen.
Oh, right. You got nailed by the Stalreen.
I got nailed by... That was the one battle that I had the most problem with because it was a stall Pokemon and I didn't have anything big and heavy enough to fight it.
Oh, I always carry just nothing but glass cannons.
I usually do that too.
When I'm playing in-game, it's just nothing but Swords Dance, and then sweep.
Oh man, if I had my Aegislash in that game.
I had a Zangoose and an Absol, but I still took down his Milotic with Mega Swampert.
After I beat him, I basically said, you know what, screw this, and I took my level 100 team from X and Y and swept the rest of the game.
Oh, no wonder you thought it was so easy. You cheated.
Excuse me, princess. I did not cheat. First of all, I've beaten regular Sapphire, I don't even know how many times.
What? You wanted to replay? Why do you replay these games that you think are meh?
Well, I wanted certain Pokemon before, this was back when, Gen 4 was out, and I wanted to get some specific Pokemon because I couldn't just do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to play through this game again.
Tough times.
It was the Dark Ages.
But now, okay, here's another good thing about Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. You can get as many more legendaries in these two games than you could in any other one combined.
I did notice that, and that's pretty rad.
And soaring through the sky?
I will give that to you. That was really fun.
You tried to pick on that. I remember. You were like, wait a minute. How does Latios come out of your PC? I don't fucking care!
I'm going to admit, that is one of the biggest, dumbest nitpicks that I've had. That is a hugely stupid nitpick. And I will admit that.
Good, because soaring through the sky beats flying so much, because I hate
totally does!
flying types.
You can land on specific routes?
Mm-hmm. Well, you can do that with fly, too, now.
What, really?
Yep.
Huh.
But it looks cooler.
Yeah, and they're wild Pokemon battles.
Pushing, and there's wild Pokemon battles.
Oh, let's talk about that for a second.
What?
You are flying in the sky on your jet dragon that isn't Garchomp.
Uh-huh.
And you encounter a flock of birds.
Yep.
So what is your first reaction? I'm gonna throw out my Sceptile. Go, Sceptile.
No. Then Latios obviously creates a psychic cloud platform for your Pokemon to battle on, because they don't like death.
You can't possibly tell me that is...
Yeah?
You can't possibly tell me that that's not a huge made-up excuse.
It works.
It would have been the perfect opportunity to refine and bring back Sky Battles.
Sky Battles? What if you don't have a flying type?
You're flying on a dragon.
But it's not officially in your team.
but it's there.
What if you want to catch that Pokemon and the only thing you have to fight with is fucking Mega Latios and it just kills everything?
Then you're just gonna have to come back later.
And then what? With a flying type?
Yeah, with a
like
flying
an asshole?
type. Yeah.
That's too complicated. Come on, Okay, I'm fighting with a Graveler out on the ocean, throw the Pokeball like a jerk.
Also very stupid.
But it's been like that forever, and you accept that.
Doesn't make it okay.
But you accept it?
No, I don't.
Do you want people to have Graveler at the head of their party, and they throw it out, and then it sinks to the bottom, and then you, that's it? It's not in your party anymore?
First of all, you shouldn't have Graveler at the head of your party.
That's a side.
Second of all, no, I think that it's something that should be looked at.
There's still kids playing these games. You don't want to nitpick them to death.
I don't want to nitpick them to death, but I want there to at least be something.
Hey, I think...
Judith, what if you're in the middle of the sky and you throw out your Graveler? You drop a stone that weighs hundreds of pounds onto some unsuspecting bug catcher, and they just get squished.
Through the roof of a Pokemon Center.
Yeah, it just comes crashing down.
Oh, good thing we're already in a hospital.
Oh no, he landed on the ICU.
But at least for this guy, you're with a psychic type who was probably like, oh, look at this idiot kid throwing a Graveler out into the sky. I'll protect it.
Yeah,
give it a magic battle
when you put
bubble.
it that way, it does make sense. However, I am still completely validated in my nitpicking like a douchebag.
Yeah, you're always validated in being a douchebag.
That's right.
Speaking of which, what other criticisms do we have?
Okay, so we did the super easy difficulty, the idiocy of the teams, or the enemy teams, the underwhelming fact that Mega Evolution was just kind of glossed over.
But you see, okay, here's the thing I think about that with Mega Evolution. I want it to become more common. I want any random trainer who approaches you on the street, they could have a Mega.
Right, okay, that would be really cool. But the way that they build it up in the game is that you're the only one who can do this because you're the only one who's friends enough with your Pokemon.
Then everybody else sucks a lot, wow.
If they're going to make it more commonplace, then they need to not build it up.
I guess. I mean, to some extent, they're always going to have to build it up to get kids excited for it.
Right, but to do that, you just be like, check it out, you can Digivolve now.
I guess.
I mean,
I don't want it to be this special power that's just reserved for you and all the named characters.
It is kind of a game breaker.
At
least for the main game.
I want all of the gym leaders to have a Mega. That would be so awesome.
That would be really awesome, except for the ones at the very beginning, because that wouldn't... Maybe, like, you could do rematches, and they would have Mega Pokemon.
Oh, they got rid of rematches. Except... Oh, wait, no, they didn't. They just made them a lot harder to get.
Kind of like in Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Yes, they have to call you, basically. Something like that.
That's basically how Heart Gold and Soul Silver worked. You need to get the specific phone number time, and they have to call you. And
yeah, why would they bring that back? I'm really mad about that.
That's frustrating.
I'm really mad. Oh, yeah, it's the trainer's eyes thing. You have to check back constantly and see if they're ready to battle you. And they'll be ready when they feel like it.
That's kind of like the Versus Seeker.
It's lame.
But I do like that it gives you that overlay on the map.
Yeah. I mean, okay. The Dex Nav and the Nav stuff. That's awesome.
Super cool. I am totally on board for that.
That brought, like, I had hidden ability Pokemon in-game. I've always wanted to do that. And all you have to do is work a little harder.
Yeah, and I started over again, and I got a Thunderfang Poochyena.
Yeah, I think that the elemental fangs they get depend on which starter you pick, actually.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because I had a Fire Fang Poochyena, and I had the water starter.
And I have a Thunderfang Poochyena, and I picked the grass one this time.
Yeah, if you have Mega Sceptile and you do a double battle with them, you should have your Poochyena use Thunderfang on Mega Sceptile.
Totally a thing that I should do.
Yeah, in that super difficult double battle with the Psychic twins who only use one Pokemon each. That was so disappointing. The gym battles were disappointing.
Yeah,
the backgrounds were cool, though.
One thing that I did like about Black and White that didn't really get touched on in any other game is that the gym leaders were actual people and you interacted with them outside of the gym.
Yeah.
That's never happened outside of that game.
Well,
And
you
Steven does
interact
not
with
count.
Wallace.
Yeah, briefly at the very end.
Yeah, he's like a...
Because he happens to be from that town.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only one you do.
He's also there in contests. Like, if you follow through with the whole
really?
contest... Yeah. If you follow the contest storyline and become a master in all the categories... I was hoping that, like, that Licia girl would date me or something. That's one thing I dig about this game. It makes you feel like the hottest 10-year-old on Earth. Like, everybody wants you.
Yeah.
But, I followed through with that contest being like, oh boy, I'm gonna get some. And then she's all like, congratulations, you get to face me in a contest now. That's what you were teasing me about all this time?
I mean, that's pretty cool. It's like in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, if you're doing the Pokeathlon, you can actually go against gym leaders and their teams there too.
Yeah, and then when I beat her, and then I went to have another contest to be like, can we talk again? Wallace was in the contest, and then after it was over, he was in the dressing room, and she was like, by the way, this is my uncle.
What?
Yeah.
Yo!
So I was like, oh, this kind of makes sense now.
That's pretty cool.
You guys do look and act the same.
That is pretty cool. I never really got into the contests originally, and they tried to bring them back for 4th gen, and I still didn't get into them.
Me neither, actually.
So
I really resented them.
Maybe this time I'll give it a shot.
It's a little more fun now, and one of the fun things that you can do is you can randomly just have your DS camera be the background.
Oh yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, the first contest I did, I was at Carl's place, you know, Uncle Yo, and I had him be the contest background. He just sat there, and the Pokemon shot attacks at him, and he couldn't see what was going on, but whenever he heard a sound effect, he would react, and it matched up really well.
Oh, that's great.
And it made the contest a bunch more fun. I know not everybody out there will have access to a Carl, but I don't know, do it to your cat.
Sure.
Have your Pokemon contest on top of your cat's head.
As gimmicky as the cosplay Pikachu is, it is such a boss.
Yeah, I see some people using it competitively. Not a lot, but some people.
It's an electric Pokemon that has access to completely different moves. And the beautiful one that gets Icicle Crash?
Yeah.
Dude, I use that form almost exclusively.
That's what everyone goes for. That's the only one I've seen in competitive, because it gets Icicle Crash.
Because Icicle Crash is a good move, especially for an electric type.
I think that's going to be a new thing we see in every game from now on. Pikachu gets another level of hacks.
Pikachu can just...
Trying to make Raichu more and more obsolete.
Raichu is so great!
Poor Raichu.
I love you, Raichu.
Nobody knew what was going to become of Pikachu in the beginning. I'm sorry, everybody. I have to keep clearing my throat. I was sick recently. Deal with it.
Just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah. But yeah, like little things like that, little character moments. There were way more of those in Oras than there were in the original Ruby and Sapphire.
And there are way more of them in Black and White than there were in any other game.
That's true.
That is one of the things that I liked about Black and White.
Me too. I mean, Pokemon characters aren't very deep at all.
But they should still exist.
Yeah. And it's nice to have little moments with them and get to know them as characters and not just placeholders for your next badge, basically.
The fighting type gym leader in X and Y.
Which one was that?
She was the roller skate queen who gave you Mega Evolution.
Right. God, how could I forget?
She gave you a Lucario.
I know, she gave me a Lucario after I went to a lot of trouble to catch a Riolu on that farm. Yeah. Not knowing she was going to give me one.
Dude, I was the same way. Like, oh my god, Lucario! I'm gonna have a Lucario by the time I can get to, like, the second badge.
Hey,
Wait.
Here's a Lucario!
What? Wait.
Yeah!
This one really likes you!
I can't use him!
No!
I'm sorry! Into the box you go.
I'm glad that they kept super training in Pokemon and me.
Yeah, I would have been pissed if they got rid of that.
Yeah, that would have been so awful for them to get rid of something like that. Like taking away Pokemon following you.
Shut up.
Was... I'm never going to get over that.
Yeah, Dan is still has a raging boner for Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver
never going to stop raging.
Unless they come out with a better game. There has yet to be a main game in the Pokemon series that has compared to Heart Gold and Soul Silver. That game did everything right.
If they could find a way to make a game run as long as HGSS did and not be as easy as it or Oras was, I would be super happy.
Right?
Unfortunately, longer game means easier opponents in Pokemon games.
They could, No, yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah, you have to level. They could make the leveling slower, but then people would get pissed.
Yeah. I mean, I never really had much of a complaint when it came to the grind in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It felt natural because the distance between the towns provided enough for you. Like, let me try and put this a better way. The distance between the towns felt natural considering the difference between the levels of the gym leaders.
I guess I can see what you mean. It's been a long time since I played.
I mean, once you beat the Elite Four the first time and you open up Kanto and you just sweep everything.
Yeah.
But up to that point, it felt like a natural progression to me.
Yeah.
With Oras, it felt like once
like
you
you're
get...
just stomping everything?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's how I felt.
And that, may have been in part of the fact that you get a Mega Stone for your starter so early on.
It was in Fortree City. It's kind of halfway through. Right? Ish?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
I think that is actually halfway through.
Mm-hmm. So I had to wait a while. I got a Mega Absol before I got Mega Swampert.
And Mega Latios.
Oh yeah, I didn't use Mega Latios.
I used it briefly for a while, but then it just kind of hung around in the back of my party.
I felt like I was cheating. I don't want to use a Mega Legendary in-game.
Yeah, it just feels like they're giving you so many things now that there's no point to trying to work for it.
Personally, I kind of appreciate that because there's so many legendaries now. I don't mind being given one.
Right, okay, fine, but the Mega Stone for it?
That was to introduce you to Mega Evolution.
Hi, I like rocks. Have this rock that makes your Pokemon better.
Okay.
The end.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's Pokemon.
But he's going to preface it by saying, this is a special kind of evolution that only few can obtain, blah, blah, blah.
Well, it's obvious that he really, 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 really likes you and thinks you're the chosen one or something.
And rocks.
And rocks. Ew.
He loves rocks.
And you.
And you.
About as much.
Yeah.
Let's keep
well, like I said, the Sailor Moon comparison is definitely there.
Wait, how?
He's like Tuxedo Mask.
Oh, right. That was a great... I mean, if I ever play it again, I'm just going to hear the music every time he shows up.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'll hear the rose sound effect of it hitting the ground. Steven?
Can you just imagine if Tuxedo Mask, instead of throwing roses, just threw rocks at people?
That would be a little more effective, actually.
Well, I mean, he's still aiming for the hand.
Can you imagine Tuxedo Mask just throwing a rock at somebody instead of a rose?
It just bounces off of something. You hear someone's bones crack.
Yeah, it just looks like Sailor Moon is done for now. Oh no, she's cornered. Jedi gets hit in the face with a rock. Okay, we're being really tangential here, though.
But there were so many times in that game where he showed up, said a few things, and then walked away. And
Dan doesn't like Poke-Welfare.
My first reaction was, what was the point of this?
To get you to know Steven, of course.
I don't need to know Steven. He's
if you're
useless.
If you're a kid who's playing Ruby and Sapphire for the first time, which many people playing would be, because they're little, then you get to know the champ. And you might not know that he's a champ because you're a little kid who doesn't use the internet.
That's a good point. I don't know. I just felt like he was...
I know, you don't like how
actually
he makes the game easier.
He didn't do anything.
He talked a lot.
He talked a lot about things that I was already doing or had done already.
I liked getting to battle beside him. I hope like if they remake Sinnoh, you get to do that next to Cynthia.
That would be
get
rad.
To battle with Cynthia, and that she follows you around everywhere and tells you how great you are and gives you stuff. If you criticize that, I will kick you off a hill.
If she's completely ineffectual like Steven is, then yeah, I'll criticize
Cynthia's never ineffectual.
Then it won't be a problem.
Exactly. I'm not biased.
I would be less upset by Steven if he actually did something. No, I'm just going to leave this to you.
Oh,
I have to go research this thing.
All the Steven fans are going to be coming for your head.
They can try.
You're a steel type. Untouchable.
I am just... He was so useless.
I liked the updated battle mechanics, though. Every time there's a new game, cool. I don't feel like they ever really make a huge mistake with the battle mechanic updates. I never have much of a complaint. Like, they always cover the things that are problematic.
That is definitely something that you and I can both agree on. The mechanics of the game did get better.
And they always do. And I like the new Megas. They're bringing... Like, Beedrill. Who the hell used Beedrill before this?
Not me. I used Butterfree.
You use Butterfree?
Dude, it has sleep powder and compound eyes.
Alright, why don't you just use Breloom? It has Spore.
Because you don't have Breloom in Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, whatever.
But yeah, Breloom's friggin' awesome, too.
Yeah, I love Breloom. But Lopunny, nobody really used it except in gimmick teams. Poor Pidgeot was pretty much outdone by every bird that came after it.
I was so happy when that was announced.
And they gave Pidgeot the shittiest abilities, but they gave it no guard when it Mega Evolves. Mega Sceptile gets to be a dragon type.
Yeah, so now it's doubly weak to ice types.
But it gets Lightning Rod, so it can switch in on electric attacks and kick ass.
Yeah.
Besides...
let's not even get started on how great Mega Swampert is.
Mega Swampert made me want the game even more.
I will agree with you on that. Mega Swampert is one of the reasons that I wanted this game.
Mega Swampert is just like a bicep muscle with eyes and fins. Like the biggest bicep. I built my entire team for MagFest around Mega Swampert and making him work, and we kicked ass.
Yeah, that was pretty rad.
We had 0 losses. It was awesome. Swift Swim. Super fast bruiser. With pretty good HP.
Wait, it's got Swift Swim?
Yeah, Swift Swim.
Yo!
If you put enough EVs into his speed and get the rain going, he outspeeds Greninja.
Oh my god.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Give it a shot.
I'm gonna have to. That's freaking awesome. My Swampert in my first run through was named Lady Kip.
Oh.
And my sister named hers Lord Kip.
Lord Kip.
Yeah, well, she got a male one and I got a female one.
Oh, I named mine Mackerel because I was like, oh, what's a fish?
You are a fish.
Mackerel kicked ass.
That's
and then
cool.
His son Pike kicked ass competitively.
Yeah. Oh man, you got so many badges.
I did. Yeah. Let's not get too off. But every con we go to has a Pokemon League lately.
We're almost at an hour now, so we should probably start winding this down.
Yeah. Also, after game content.
Okay. Yes, we do need to talk about the Delta chapter.
Yeah. Spoilers for the Delta chapter. If you haven't played it, I guess turn it off now.
Okay.
Meaning us.
So, let's talk very, very briefly about how I feel about post-game content.
It's a fetch quest.
I think post-game content needs to happen in Pokemon games.
Mm-hmm.
The Looker quest in X and Y, that was a nice touch.
It's alright.
It made me feel for an NPC that they introduced exclusively for that.
Mm-hmm.
And the Delta chapter felt a lot like the Looker quest to me.
Only longer?
Not really, because you didn't have to go back to any specific town. You could just do the entire thing in one sitting.
I guess. Only more dire, I guess, because the Looker quest is like, help me find some stuff. I'm a detective and I'm really weird. I escaped from the Lupin anime and they'll never find me now. But the Delta chapter was like, the world's literally going to explode.
I think the reason that it's a lot more dire in that one is because in X and Y, the world was literally going to explode in the main game.
Yeah. Yeah, here's a little break.
But yeah, what I didn't notice the first time I did the Delta chapter was that the grunt that turns into Zinnia is the same one that you encounter at the very beginning of the game.
Yes.
I completely forgot about that character because that's the only time that she ever exists.
The seeds were planted so early.
Yeah, and then completely ignored.
Well, how much can they actually keep hinting? I guess they could have hinted a lot at it.
They could have hinted at it at least one more time.
Well, they did. They did hint at it a few times. People kept being like, why is your bag sparkling? And I just kept thinking, because I'm awesome, obviously. I didn't know what was up with that.
So, the Delta chapter, yeah, it really did feel like one big long fetch quest.
Because it was. They just had you...
Go here, fight thing. Go here, fight thing. Go here, fight thing.
Go here, have discussion, leave. Don't even have a battle.
Yeah.
But
it just didn't feel all that important to me, you know?
I still liked it.
It was okay.
It was
and
fun.
Zinnia is such a really neat character design.
Yeah, if it hadn't been for Zinnia, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much. I know I sound like a total sucker for any female character who's remotely interesting in the game.
Which you are.
Yes, that's actually what helped get me into the contest some more. I used to hate the contests.
The reason for that is that there are so few interesting female characters.
Truth.
But especially
good on them for adding more.
Yeah, like her design was really cool. Her attitude was interesting. They did literally nothing with her.
Her animations when she battled you, she looks like a crazy person. I loved it.
Oh, that was pretty cool. I was taken aback the first time I fought her. I'm like, is she gonna like bull rush me? Is she gonna tackle me and punch out my Pokemon?
I accept this challenge.
I will fight you, small child. Because I too am a small child.
Yeah, they couldn't do much with her though, because everything in the Pokemon games ultimately has to center around you.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Oras sure made me feel like the baddest ass in the world. Like
the baddest ass of the smallest game.
Nobody on Earth, not the top scientists, not the top battlers, not this person who is destined to save the world, could accomplish any of the things that I did.
Okay, so maybe for you it makes you feel like a badass. For me, it makes me feel like the world has been Flanderized.
I didn't feel even remotely patronized. But it's okay, because it was fun. Pokemon games are supposed to be fun.
I didn't have as much fun with this game.
You enjoyed yourself, right?
I enjoyed myself in small doses.
That's fun.
Yes.
I just watched an entire argument on a forum about what the meaning of fun is until somebody finally posted the dictionary definition of it.
Okay, so my final thoughts on this game. There were times when I had fun. There are times when it was an enjoyable game. It was not fun from start to finish. I was bored most of the time. 7.8 out of 10 is a good score for it. But not for too much water, because that's just stupid.
I would just give it the straight 8. It was Pokemon.
I would say 7.
I would give it 8. It was fun, good graphics, slightly good updates to the story, putting in that after-game content we've always wanted, great updated battle mechanics. But I had a good time.
Most of the things that were interesting about the game happened very, very late into the game.
Oh, because it's so hard to get late into the game, right?
It is when the game is practically, like, pulling teeth.
Ooh. Well, if it's such a challenge for Dan.
I was so bored playing this game.
I really wasn't, though.
Judith, let me put it this way. It was like trying to read Homestuck. People say that it gets really great later on, but you still have to suffer.
That's like 500 chapters. Okay, that's disproportionate. I'm just saying. Okay, and
it was
one
the
more
same
thing.
Feeling.
One more thing they did wrong. They kept all those HMs you need.
Okay, so when they made TMs infinitely usable, they should have just gotten rid of the necessity of an HM.
Yeah, I know. They're trying to prevent you from being permanently stuck somewhere and having to restart your game. But, okay, great. X and Y really worked on reducing the amount of needed HMs. You could teach your Pokemon this thing to get some extra items. You don't have to. Oras just brought back all the have to because Ruby and Sapphire was the worst for HMs. Like they were punishing us.
Dive, waterfall, surf.
Yeah, and if you start with the water
HMs.
Pokemon, you've got a water Pokemon now with 3 water moves. Have fun.
I mean, it's just a matter of making that, because once they made it so that the TMs could be reusable, it's just a matter of switching them out when you need them.
That's how I feel.
It made sense for them to be necessary in the old games because they were only one-shot items,
Maybe
except
we're
for the
wrong
HMs.
now. But especially something like Dive, which is so useless
And completely
in battle.
situational.
I understand. We're in Hoenn. Everything is water. You have to dive underwater to get to certain areas. You could have done something else instead of making it an HM. Could have had like entryways or something. I don't know.
Oh, can I just... So you know how every Pokemon game up to this point was one unbroken world map?
Yes.
I was so frustrated by the amount of transitions between cities and routes.
Oh my god, yeah, working through this map without fly is the worst.
Like, that was one thing. That can't possibly be considered a nitpick, okay? Because it is a consistent problem that I had with the game, and it really broke the flow of it for me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call that a nitpick, because if I ever had to go back for anything, if I forgot one thing, it took like 20 minutes to get across that map without fly, and I had to bust out all these HMs.
Each city was its own different location, and and it was like there was a transition between each one, and you needed to... Every game before this point was one unbroken world map. And that made it feel like it was one big world.
And I understand separating the regions, because they're based on regions in Japan and Europe and the United States. But, like, at least make the map itself more workable.
Yeah.
Please?
It was unbroken in the original game.
But in spite of all that, I still had fun.
I had fun sometimes. I did make it through the game, and I am playing it again.
Yeah,
for some ungodly reason. Well, I wanted to change my trainer name and also pick the female avatar.
Uh-huh. You should play contests, and that girl will totally be in lesbians with you.
I'm definitely going to do contests this time, because apparently they made it like the movie theater thing, where if you do enough things, they'll give you actual useful items.
Yeah, they do.
That was one of the reasons I didn't do contests way back when, because I felt that they were completely self-congratulatory and had no bearing on the game as a whole.
Yeah, and I felt like they were there to patronize girl players, and I resented them highly.
I didn't feel that way because I'm a guy, and it never occurred to me back then.
Mm-hmm.
But I can totally see why you'd feel that way.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little better with them now, especially now that they have more male contest competitors and all that, but whatever.
Whatever.
She was a cute girl. She liked me.
And she's the best at it.
And that's all it takes.
So yeah, it's not a bad game, but it's not a good game either.
But it's a fun game.
I would call it a meh game.
A what?
A meh game. A game where people be like, hey, do you want to play this? Meh.
It's Pokemon.
It's Pokemon, but so is Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Okay, you can go play that.
I will. You know what? I just might.
I'm gonna go train for more competitive matches.
You do that. I'll have my Cyndaquil walk around behind me.
Alright, you have your Cyndaquil walk around behind you, but God help you if you ever face me in an actual match.
I'll just sit in the corner.
You got nothing.
Pet my Cyndaquil.
Yeah, you do that.
Well, that's why I have all of my other Pokemon in another game. So that I can fight you.
Yeah.
Specifically you. I'm going to be completely honest here. Most of my metagame practice and research is to fight you.
Good. I'm glad to know that. I'm going to be gym leading at PAX East coming up soon. If anybody has never heard of the PAX Pokemon League, you should look it up and come and challenge us.
Is that next weekend?
That is March 6th. So, coming up. 2 weeks.
Okay, so, yeah, 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
And you can battle me for my badge. I'll have leftover badges. I'll save one for you, Dan.
Yay!
We'll see if you can win. So next time we do this, we'll talk about something else besides just Pokemon.
A whole episode devoted to something that isn't a video game.
Yes, perhaps like Sailor Moon.
Yeah, next week we'll talk about Sailor Moon.
All right.
Or not next week, next episode.
Next time.
Next time we'll talk about Sailor Moon.
Please tune in.
It'll be awesome.
Yep. Bye-bye.